tuned into the game.
We are the gentlemen advance the melanin revolution.
Welcome to another edition of the Game Recognized Game podcast with RLJ and Kev. I'm KEV, that's RLJ, and we are the gentlemen advancing the melanin evolution. Revolution is revolution. Yo, Brother J, 2023
is
rolling.
It's smoking crack.
It's rolling, man. It's rolling at high speed, man.
Yes.
Yo.
Yes.
I'm in the easy pass lane on 95 with no with no device, man. I'm praying I don't get pulled over. It's going so fast, man. I'm in the hot lanes without the flex pass, man. I gotta be careful.
Hey, they gonna catch you. When they first started, you could sneak by, but now
they get you. They gonna get you. You might think like the day you think, I made it, it's gonna be the next one.
Yeah, you gonna get caught. But no, I was looking at the
that
calendar.
ticket ain't no joke.
It's not.
Nah,
especially
it's like $250.
especially during peak time.
Yeah,
you get the ticket and the fine.
Yeah, man. I'd rather get a reckless driving ticket than to get a HOV violation, man.
Yeah. But no, the month is flying. The temperature and the weather is
bipolar
in this weird transition state. One day it's like, oh, all right, cool, spring is on its way. Then the next day it's like, is that snow hitting my windshield? But you know what is happening as we have exited the month of February, Black History Month, the Black History or the Black New Year, as one of my clients called it. They was like,
I like that, the Black New Year.
They was like, this ain't Black History Month. This is the beginning of this is the Black New Year. We celebrate.
Now we can start the year.
Yeah, we celebrating the Black New Year. He was like,
all our excellence and splendor.
Kwanzaa is the warm up. February 1st is the official start of the Black New Year. We are now in Women's History Month, and the Black history continues as we acknowledge and celebrate the contributions that Black women have had on our existence within the world, bro.
Yo, bro, man, if you talking Harriet Tubman, if you talking Shirley Chisholm, if you talking Auntie Maxine Waters, you know, I'm just saying, man, it's a lot of great sisters, man. That's paved the way. That's paved the way for the culture and our progress, man.
Mm-hmm.
Some dope sisters out there now, man. You know, shout out to Madam Vice President for sure. You know, shout out to Madam Vice President for sure, man. Shout out to Supreme Court Justice. She's getting her feet wet really, really fast, man.
Bro. Can't catch the rhythm of the stroke. They threw her in the deep end.
Yeah.
But I think she was created for a time
Ketanji,
such as this.
Ketanji Brown Jackson,
yes,
man. Yeah, that's
Ketanji. Yeah.
I'm just saying, man. She ain't getting no honeymoon period on her watch, did she?
She did not.
Sisters doing it though, man. Sisters doing it, you know. Speaking of sisters, Michael Jordan, he requested that Viola Davis play his mother in the upcoming movie Air, about how Nike pursued Michael Jordan and solidified an endorsement deal that made Michael Jordan one of the wealthiest Black men in America today. Well, I'm looking forward to that movie coming out, but
he got the money to pay her salary.
I just think it's kind of dope. He was like, nah, man, like I need like the greatest woman actress of today to play my mom.
Yeah.
Because I'm the GOAT. Like, think about that. It's like, yeah, I get it. Y'all want my likeness in this movie. Then my mom's so dope. I need the greatest woman actress of our time to play my mother. Or if we can't get her, then guess what? Y'all need another script.
Figure it out.
Yo, that's some cold-blooded shit right there.
Figure it out.
Like, damn. say, nah, man, I ain't gonna lie, yo. I need the greatest of the great to play my mother. Hell, that's a big like when you talk about like that's a flex move, man. That's a flex move right there. Like anything associated with me got to be the greatest ever.
Has to be.
Mm.
It has on brand.
Yeah, man. So and shout out to all the wonderful women that are part of the village that are doing amazing and great things on a daily basis. Like you said, man, because if you're dope, that's a 365, 52 week a year initiative. You know what I'm saying? That ain't relegated to a month or a week or whatever. Like, yo, if you're dope, you're dope.
Yeah.
So I respect it, man. I respect it. With that being said, Brother Jay, there's a lot of different things that are going on right now in the world today. Chris Rock, he just did his Netflix special that I checked out. And it was kind of ill, man, because it was a live engagement. Like Netflix, it wasn't like a streaming thing. It was you go in there, it was live. It reminded me like the old school HBO Saturday night live comedic specials, man.
So I haven't watched it.
Yeah.
When it was coming on live, I was doing something and I was like, I want to be able to sit and watch it uninterrupted, no distraction. So maybe I'll watch it tonight.
I'm old school, so I fell asleep, right? I tried to stay awake.
Nope, I think you're just old, Kev.
Whatever. I tried to stay awake until it came on, but just like back in the day when stuff was coming on at like 10, 11 o'clock on a Saturday, I was about 50-50 for attendance anyway.
Fair.
But I fell asleep and I woke up at about 10:45, almost 11, and I went on and it was kind of going on, so I just rewound the joint. Ran it back, man, and watched it. And I think it's a good little look just to kind of sum up the last year, Brother Jay. But I was actually expecting him to go a little more harder on Will Smith than he did. I mean, he went hard on Will Smith, but at the same time, there was a level of grace with his performance and a level of like he ain't slapped the shit out of Will Smith verbally like he could have, and but you also really up the ante.
It's been a long time since it happened.
Yeah.
Like the energy surrounding it has died down. And then two, I'm about to say this. Put this down in history. Somebody has to eventually be the bigger person, bro. And so if he went as hard as he did. Say that one
more time. You say somebody
eventually has to be the bigger person.
Now, is this a doctrine that you subscribe to now? Or are you just saying that it's a common thing that somebody gonna have to be the bigger person?
Somebody gonna have to be.
All right.
No, I'm subscribing.
Not necessarily a doctrine that you subscribe to, but it's a reality.
I'm subscribing to it, right? Because I tell my coaching clients that I would never tell you something that I'm not willing to subscribe to myself, right?
That's real.
I did say eventually. I didn't say initially. I said eventually, right? Sometimes you got to let petty prevail. But in this situation, if he went as hard as we thought he should have, what would have that resulted in?
Because he already went hard. I mean, and I ain't going to spoil it for you, but he pretty much said, yo, Will Smith really wasn't mad at Chris Rock. He was mad at his wife. Chris Rock was just like the innocent bystander.
Yeah, and I think we recognize that, right? You and I both have been in professional situations and, our experience and exposure to different things where we knew you not mad at Chris Rock. Chris Rock's job is to tell jokes. Like, you've been the person to crack jokes before. Now, this one, shit ain't funny because it's hitting you personally because you haven't dealt with some shit that's happening or transpired at your red table for talking, right?
And that was a smooth shit with the whole setup and production, Brother Jay, because the name of the show was Selective Outrage. But the theme was like people have selective outrage over all right, you still bumping Michael Jackson, but you ain't bumping R. Kelly. All right, so let's talk about that, right?
Yeah.
But he kind of saved the Will Smith thing towards the end of the show. But I'm just like, damn, he probably could have went a little harder, but it was like a level of grace that he showed him to just say like, yo, man, I get it. You going through it. I feel for you.
And you got to ask yourself, Kev, because like the streets are saying, you know, you want grace, you got to get that from God, player.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Hey, if you want grace, you got to get that from God, not from me. And so like the streets just want you to go hard, an eye for an eye, right? But at the end of the day, I remember my mentor once told me, he was like, yeah, I'm from the streets, but the streets ain't paying me. So he was like, he opened his jacket. He says, it stays on my hip. He closed his jacket up. He said, but I can't take that into where I'm about to go in the next 15 minutes. The streets ain't paying me.
And when you at a level of Chris Rock's stature, like let's just call this shit a buck. Like the man hosted the Oscars, the blueprint by which comedians do like their stadium shows and movies and all that. Chris Rock was doing this for HBO, getting like one-time deals for $10 million in the damn 90s. You know what I'm saying? So like he's at a level that he just ain't no Joe Schmo. And this ain't not like some of the younger comedians that I like. You know, this ain't 85 South, or this ain't Kev on stage or nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? Like Chris Rock done put his time in, and he's
a vet, bro.
He's in a room that a lot of people can't walk in.
A room that a lot of people aren't even invited.
Yeah.
A room that many people don't know exist.
Yeah,
right.
And the cool thing to your point, Brother Jay, watching the show, a lot of the comedians that he had up there, like co-signing them, was like the biggest white comedians out there. Mm. We ain't talking, you know, even just people shouting them out of our culture. Like I'm talking like the biggest of the biggest white comedians that's out there, man. And they co-signing you. But so like you in a it's access.
Yes, but you also, right, on the other side of the coin, Will is a vet too. Right? And so we talk about these unspoken expectations once you reach a certain level. There are also unrequested expectations, because I don't think anyone ever asked for the greater humanity expectations that are placed upon them once they reach a certain level or pinnacle within society's viewpoint.
So are you saying that just because I can win an Academy Award and my movies can gross $1 billion and when they come out, that doesn't mean that I won't slap a nigga?
Clearly. Right.
Okay. I mean, let's just acknowledge it, Brother Jay. Let's acknowledge it and call it out, because I think like that's been the discussion. Because I'm of this status, you know, it's not beyond reproach for me to. It's beyond reproach for me to slap a nigga.
But you got, and we can even go like deeper than this, right? We think about, at the end of the day, whether you are a nonprofit leader, an educator, a coach, a musician, entertainer, athlete, surgeon, whatever, pastor, at the end of the day, you are a human. The titles and the professional attributes, those get put away because they are not who you are. At the crux of it, right? You are a human dealing with human shit. And if you aren't able to navigate the human side, the public side is not going to be in alignment. We think of the Fresh Prince. We think of like all of the good things that this person has, but no one really says, oh, while he was saving the world, wonder if he's working on the things to help him save himself.
Oh, well, obviously, according to Chris Rock, his marriage was already in disarray. So, well, you know, obviously,
I think that was doomed from the start. If you read the book and heard how it was formed, it's like,
yeah, man. But what like to get that put on a Summer Jam screen, and you actually technically you put yourself on the Summer Jam screen, like I don't know.
Framework.
But to that point though, brother Jay, let's look at a more current example as well. Let's look at Ja Morant. Ja Morant, the phenomenal point guard for the Memphis Grizzlies. That is, I mean, hell, man, he's a combination of Allen Iverson and Russell Westbrook and Steph Curry all rolled into one.
That's a hell of a combination, bro.
He's legit.
Hell of a
He's
combination.
legit in terms of his talent, ability, his drawing ability too. He legit, man. He got a Nike deal, got his own shoe now. You know, former Rookie of the Year, Most Improved Player. Like Memphis Grizzlies, beginning of the season, was picked to at least make it to the Western Conference Finals. Now, Ja Morant was caught on his Instagram page, live on his IG live with a gun in his waistband, brother Jay. Now, don't get me wrong, man. Like, it's every American's right to bear arms if you have the legal authority to do it in your state. So let me just put that out there. It ain't illegal for a black man to have a gun. But what's coming out is it necessary for a black man of Ja Morant's elite ability and his persona and his brand, should he have a gun in his possession? Is he at a level where it's beyond reproach for him to bear arms, even if he thinks it's my constitutional right? Or I'm a black man in Memphis. As we know, things have been happening in Memphis. I want to be ahead of the curve, then behind the curve. I'm going to bear arms as a result.
So, hold on. You know, I've just entered therapist mode.
Mm-hmm.
And as I'm hearing the story, and, you know, I briefly saw some stuff on social media, have some questions. Going off of what you just said, is it illegal? As long as, like, I don't know. I'm not here to talk about the legalities, right? My question is, what was the point of revealing that you got a gun on social media, right? Like, what was the point of flaunting the heater if he wasn't using it? Like, what? Why? I think that's, and many people probably like, that's not important. Yeah, for me it is, because I'm trying to get some understanding. Like, if you got it, cool.
That understanding, where does that stem from?
Trying to get the understanding of the why?
Yeah, well, at least in this case, like, I guess what
was the point?
Okay, all right.
Right? Because I'm pretty sure that there are other NBA players walking around potentially with something on their hip or on the ankle, right? Like, maybe in the back. That may be the case, right? I don't want to say that he shouldn't have had it. I'm just trying to figure out what was the point of, one, no longer concealing it, but revealing it on social media in the middle of a nightclub. What was the point?
So, the rumor mill has it that people question Ja's, like, street cred as a result of growing up in a two-parent household and having a good upbringing. And, like, you don't need to be a thug. You just be a ball player.
I get it.
So,
but
I don't know.
You have to make the conscious decision. Who am I going to live for? The streets ain't paying you, bro. The streets, going back to what my mentor said, the streets ain't paying him. You have a job. Bro, I don't care if you work for Office Max. There's an employee code of conduct of what the employer will not allow. If you are associated with X, Y, and Z company or corporation, there are rules and expectations of those tied to the brand. That's it.
So you're looking at it like, I'm a representative of the NBA. That's a privilege, not a right.
Listen, the reason why I'm saying it's a privilege, not a right, because at the end of the day, right, you can be gone. Think about our employment. Most of the jobs that we are in, due to our experience and our education, are at will positions, at the will and the pleasure of the president. I remember I ate lunch with the president once a month. I was at his house every other week for dinner, and he was explaining, right? This was when I was on the higher education administration track. The beauty about being, at an at-will institution, but also like the deficit part. And he was like, I can like you today. You do something to me, I can tell my legal team, get rid of him at the will and the pleasure of the president, right? He said, all this stuff is what you sign, but you don't read it because you're just excited to have a job. How often do you really read through everything that comes?
Print.
Yeah. Now, especially when they're saying, hey, turn this in within 48 hours, you forget, you turn it in late, you sign just so you can get employed. And then when stuff starts transpiring, you're just like, oh, shit.
Then you gotta
go back.
You got a mistress on the staff you weren't supposed to have in the case of the Boston Celtics coach, and you got a gun in your waist on your IG live, and you the plug for the NBA.
And there's so many things at play here, right? Because I'm having internal conflict here, right? So I want to know, well, what was the point of you even posting this, right? At the end of the day, you're trying to prove yourself as a giraffe to a turtle. You're at a level much higher than that you're trying to prove yourself to. Like, bro, that's one. Two, we can also argue that there's other people that may not look like this brother, if you know what I'm saying, that have done some shit within the NBA and ain't nothing hit social media. I think that the one, he released it, so that's two, going back to what we were talking about, maybe in the green room, who do you have around you that's not slapping some sense into your ass when you thought it was a good idea, one, to go live from a club on your personal social media with a gun? Who's around you?
So question.
Go ahead. I'm thinking out loud, so some of the stuff may not think logical sense.
I'm tracking where you're going, right?
I'm pissed, Kevin.
I get it, but I'm gonna throw a caveat in there, though.
Throw it. I'm with it.
These are the times that we're in, right? Where you got rappers and you got entertainers going live and posting some shit to add to their legacy or their persona online, right? So if the rumor is, oh, Ja could be tested, not saying that I subscribe to this. I'm thinking out loud as well. If the rumor is that I could be tested, and then I want to put something out there indirectly, like, yo, you could walk over, but you might limp back, without necessarily saying it or promoting it, but it's like indirectly, then that's the image that I would want to put out, right? Not to try me. I guess the question that you have is around the people that are around Ja Morant, but the assumption is that they would have that level of thinking to understand brand, like street cred versus my brand,
or just common sense.
Yeah, but that's the assumption is that the people
everybody
around you got
common.
that level.
You right.
They got that
right.
line of delineation. So
maybe I'm not pissed. Maybe I'm disappointed. Because...
But should you be disappointed? Like, is this some shit that everybody should just know? Like, yo, if one of your people is the bag, then your job automatically is to protect the bag at all costs. Like,
you're right.
I don't know. I don't know.
Maybe my disappointment is in that there's nothing established around this individual as like a safeguarding mechanism.
Now that's real.
So my disappointment is I'm sad for the fact that there's no one around this young brother. Okay, so stop. I just checked myself because I'm making the assumption that there isn't anyone around him that's providing guidance. Just because someone says it doesn't mean you listen to it. Right? We were talking about that earlier before we hit the record button about you can receive all the good guidance in the world, but if you don't apply it, it means nothing. I think back to I had a mentor, he passed away. And he said, you know what? The more I teach you, the dumber you get. Bro, I heard him tell somebody that, and I was like, bro, if you ever tell me that shit, I'm gonna punch you in your face. He was like, bro, the more I tell you, the dumber you get. He said, I just told your monkey ass. Like, so he's going through all of the things he said, and you did the complete damn opposite of what I just said. And so I had a moment. I'm going to check myself because I don't want to make the assumption that he doesn't have people around him. I think I want to move the conversation to this point of social responsibility. Right? Because we could talk about the gun issue. I'm not interested in hearing that because I don't want to talk about the gun issue until you talk about the gun issue that the police officers are having, right? That are killing unarmed black men. And so if we're going to talk about gun control, we need to talk about that too. That's another conversation another day.
Oh, if Ja Morant got a gun, let's talk about the black police officers that's killing the black man in Memphis. Like it's a microcosm of like
so many things
two polarities.
Yeah, right. And so I want to throw that out. But I want to talk about more so because the conversation is definitely around like, should athletes have the gun? I don't want to talk about that. I don't care.
Let me add additional context.
Go for it.
So, Ja Morant has been in the NBA for 4 years and has career earnings of $40 million in his first 4 years, right? He signed or will be eligible to sign an extension of north of $230 million for the next 5 years, just by way of his performance and his accolades during his first 4 years. So anticipation of him making $233 million the next 5 years. So $33 million, 23-24, $36 million, 24-25, $38 million, 25-26, $41 million, 26-27, and $44 million, 27-28. At that time, he will be eligible to sign another extension, probably worth northward of $300 million. So we're talking about a sports brand that would likely, just playing basketball alone, earn north of $600 million. And now he's also one of 5 current NBA athletes that have a signature shoe line. So it's Ja Morant, it's Paul George, it's Giannis Antetokounmpo, it's Kevin Durant, and it's LeBron James. So essentially, Ja Morant is one of the faces of basketball globally. So I'm giving you context. The reason I wanted to run down those stats, Brother Jay, is to give you to add some brevity to the importance of Ja Morant to the NBA at current state. We ain't just talking about some regular athlete or athlete that is on his way in or on his way out. We're talking about an athlete that's on the cusp of earning $1 billion, likely over the next 7 to 8 years.
So to that point, right, while you were saying that, was I entered reflection mode, and I want to pose this question, right? Because we tend to tie, and when I say we as people, or especially within the black community, or sometimes white community, expectations of people within the black community, when you reach a certain level of access and success, there's a certain level that you are expected to perform or behave at. So my question is, you know, when your platform changes, so should your role and your responsibilities, because
That's real.
you are now seen by the public, and especially more specifically as a basketball player, you have individuals younger than you that are looking up to you. But I always ask this question of, did you ask for that? Especially within the black community, we will put an emphasis, someone, first generation college student here, right? I remember someone said something along the lines to me of, well, you know, you ain't got no choice but to succeed. You got others following you, and you got people looking up toward you. I said, but this degree ain't for them. And everybody looked at me like I was crazy. It's not. Okay, I'm first generation. Great. Younger cousins looking up to me. Even greater. I didn't ask for that. And so people are looking at me like, one, why is he talking back to his elders? And two, like, why has he got this attitude? It's not that I have an attitude, but you don't get to place this pressure and these expectations upon me because you think that this is what I'm supposed to do, or because I got to be the one. No, I don't have to, right? I have to make the decision to step into whatever it is you are creating. I don't have to be the example. But I think we don't give people the opportunity to make that decision. It's just forced upon people.
One way or another.
Yeah, you're in the NBA now. You got these young kids looking up to you, and you got to do this. You got to do this. No, I don't.
I just want to hoop and smoke weed.
That's bruh. And if that's what you
I'm
want
not
to do,
saying that that's what Ja Morant wants to do. I'm just saying like that could be Kevin. I just want to hoop and have money to support my weed.
All this other shit, and like I'm not coming to your little basketball game to see you.
Yeah, the little championships
and
and
inspire
all that stuff,
you
yeah.
And give no speech.
I want to get paid,
right? I don't want to do none of this.
Yeah,
I don't have to. I don't have a social obligation just because I made it to a level in which others before me haven't.
That's like Charles Barkley's old school commercial back in the day. I'm not a role model. It was a Nike commercial. It was like, I'm not a role model. And he kind of goes by like, you know, these people should be role models, but I'm not a role model. I'm an athlete.
And you don't, like, there's no application. No one applies to be a role model. You just, by merit, you are considered to be one. And we put this pressure on individuals. And, you know, like I said, I checked myself earlier because I was making the assumptions that, oh, he got people around. He doesn't have people around him, but maybe he does. Maybe this is not the path that he wants to take. I don't give a damn about leadership, personal development, or success of whoever else. I'm out here trying to ball, get my money, and enjoy life. YOLO. And
his daddy around. His daddy in the picture, so we ain't gonna sit back and say like we're not gonna assume there's nobody around. But I guess the premise that makes this whole ordeal so shocking to me is the fact that either himself or the people around him don't recognize like the level of influence and frankly his ability to change the landscape of the NBA. Like it's only a few athletes in the NBA that have had that level of impact. Ja Morant could potentially be one of those athletes, right?
But who asked for that, right? Like,
yeah, I mean that's true.
Like I didn't ask for it. Now,
but if you ask for the check and you ask for the shoe deal and you ask for the likes on social media, then by way of that, are you asking for the additional responsibility and baggage that comes with it?
I think the baggage is going to come regardless of whatever we choose, bro. Like we are constantly living out the consequences of a lot of our actions and decisions. We wanted to go to school, but we didn't know that we would be paying for this shit 20 years after we graduated.
For like legit 20 years, man.
Right. We didn't
20 years.
We didn't ask for that, but it came with it. We saw it as access to education And now it's the aftermath. And so there's things that you do that have lifelong repercussions or consequences. There's things that we say yes to that by nature of the beast, other things are attached or associated with it. Now, I'm not saying I'm upset about this. I'm not saying that individuals have to act a certain way. At the end of the day, you have to make the decision on how you want to, right? Going back to Robert, you're not listening to his music, but you listen to MJ's music, or you're not doing this, but you're supporting that. And it's like, one is wrong, the other is wrong, right? But I think in this state, like, we always assume that because somebody rises to a higher platform, that they have been equipped with the tools and the resources or the know-how in terms of how they should be acting. Going back to your point, maybe I just want a ball. I don't care about none of this other shit that you're talking about. I'm not showing up to your little community fair. I'm not going to...
I legit just want my check. And
I'm not coming to the schools and tell kids to stay in school, get good grades. F these kids, right? I'm not here for any of that. What I'm here to do is what I'm paid to do. Play ball. Put points on that score, get this team to where it needs to go, and then I'm going to go home and...
I'm going to smoke this Zaza and run these hoes. I'm going
to live my life, right? And so I checked myself because I was coming from a place of privilege in terms of like, yo, one should know or somebody should tell them or blah, blah, blah. Like, but we also got to think back to the white patriarchal way of creating these rules and expectations that many of us are subscribing to, right? When I think about, we worked for an organization and I had some issues when I had to tell individuals, hey, that's not professional, that's professional. So I changed my language to say, hey, depending on where you're going, you may not see people that look like you. And as a result, people that don't look like you may not be open to how you are currently presenting yourself. I'm not telling you it's right. I'm not telling you it's wrong. What I am telling you is, if this is how if you want to survive in the environment that you're going into, you have to be able to speak the language and know the rules of the game.
So question, should Ja Morant or people in Ja Morant's camp be upset by way of the Memphis Grizzlies taking action to suspend him a couple of games or indefinitely until he figures out his life, or the NBA kind of putting the pressure on him to say, shape up or ship out? So
I want to be clear that I can't say whether someone should be upset or not. So that's, I'm going to leave it there. 2, I believe that there is a code of conduct and expectations that the NBA has. Similar to any job application, employment agreement.
You sound like a company man right now, Brother Jay. You sound like you're trying to be responsible.
And that's at the end of the day, right? Like if you say you want to play for the NBA, then you got to think about what all does that come with. There's going to be some shit that's not in black and white that is unspoken and unwritten. You just got to abide by it. Now, I'm pretty sure within the code of conduct, like, there's some things that's in there, and there may, this particular situation may not be in there. But also, I do believe that there is something about public image and, like, how you are a representation of the team and the league.
And I'm pretty sure with a lot of his endorsement deals, I'm pretty sure they have some kind of like a conduct clause.
Yeah.
I forget what they call it. It's like it's a conduct clause, but it's something about just like your behavior.
Yeah, it's there, right? And so like if you want the crown, then you got to build your neck up to hold the strength of the crown. Heavy is the head that wears the crown, right? And it's heavy because the crown isn't just heavy, but everything that comes with it.
So are you saying the scrutiny that Ja Morant is going through right now it's part for the course. It comes with the territory.
I believe some of it is, right? Some of it, right? Like, one, he should have somebody controlling his personal media, like social media. Like once you reach a certain level,
you shouldn't get caught with a gun on IG Live.
You shouldn't be on IG Live from your own device. Like, we've seen what happens when celebrities get on IG, and ain't nobody saying, "Hey, player, you probably shouldn't do that." Right? Yeah. You probably shouldn't do that.
Paul Pierce with the weed and the strippers.
Yeah, like, you just stop going live from the trap house. Like, this is, you probably shouldn't do that. I know it's your auntie's house. I know it's your cousin. You probably shouldn't go live there, especially if you have something tracking your location.
It's so hard though, man, because our lives are so interesting, Brother Jay. Our lives are so interesting, and everybody got to know what we doing.
Are they? Are they really that interesting?
To make sure that we ain't out here capping, man.
And everything has a consequence. I'm trying to live, like, who are you trying to live for? I remember my pastor asked me this a long time ago. He was like, yo, who are you trying to live for? You trying to live for the individuals that can give you earthly gain? I was like, oh, here you go. He was like, nah, really. He said, no, really think about it. He said, because when you determine who you're living for, that would also determine your actions for the course. Right? So if you out here trying to prove yourself to the streets, like, you're going to do the things that the people, the adjudication squad in the streets would deem worthy of getting street cred. Right? If you're trying to move up the ladder at Deloitte, you're going to do what the individuals who can give you cred within the interior walls of Deloitte say you need to do. So it all is determined based on where you're trying to go and how you recognize the vehicle that you're using to get to that destination. Should he be under scrutiny? I can't say yes or no. What I am saying is, this is a very unfortunate situation that this brother has put himself in.
Hey man, sometimes you gotta keep them things on you, man. You know, I don't know. I'm a subscriber to, like, that ain't me. I don't think, like, I don't necessarily believe you need a gun. A lot of people do. I understand it. You know what I'm saying? The people that believe you need a gun, I understand it. The people that don't believe that you need a gun, I understand that as well. Me, I just know I have certain things that it's not in my best interest to have a gun or own a gun.
Fair.
I get all that.
This is what I was told by one of my friends from the local area. He said, anyone that weighs it ain't using it. And DJ.
So by way of having the gun on your IG Live, you kind of defeating the purpose of having the gun in the first place.
Anybody? He was like, you've never seen me pull out my gun, and I just looked at him like, true. You're right. Why are we having this conversation? Like, I'm sitting there thinking, like, are you, like, how did we get here? Mm-hmm. Lo and behold, he did pull it out later that night in the club, but he smacked somebody with it. Mm-hmm. He was like, yo, anybody that's waving it in the air saying, oh, I got this, he's like, yo, anybody that's going to use it ain't going to wave it because you know they got it. Fair. And so any night.
It's time to use it.
Right. He said, and even then we not waving it, we pointing it. So ever since then, like, him and his people was my unofficial security crew when I was DJing in the clubs.
But see, that's the thing though, man. Like, yo, I never heard of Michael Jordan having a gun, or Shaq having a gun.
Somebody had it.
Kobe
in the
Bryant
group.
having a gun. Or let's just say LeBron James. LeBron James is part of the culture of today, and he came up in the social media era as an athlete. Never heard of LeBron James having a gun either. And let's keep it a buck, man. Akron and Cleveland ain't no places that you probably just want to just explore, because you could get your cap peeled back there too. So if you wanted to have a gun in Memphis, Tennessee, or Cleveland, Ohio, I think you probably have the equal right, equal say.
But the question is, bro, going back to what I just stated with my homeboy who said, if anybody that's waving it ain't using it, like, why do I need to prove that I got it?
If I'm LeBron James or Ja Morant, I don't need to prove a damn thing. But I do. But people do need to understand that, yo, you can get froggy if you want to. It it ain't necessarily me who's engaging with you, but you know, enter at your own risk.
And that's where, right? That's when you realize that you are at a different level, right?
Yeah.
I keep my hands clean because I never touch dough, right? I always laugh when I hear that line in the song because I'm just like, well, yeah, you don't need to touch it because the people that are around you are doing it, right? I'm thinking about BMF. I'm thinking about Snowfall. Like, everybody, typically when shit goes wrong, it's because too many people are touching things they're not supposed to touch. When we think about all of these movies and these situations, why did this happen? Because such and such, such, such.
But Snoop Dogg did pack a gun in BMF in the church, and he was a reverend. So sometimes people got to know, like, yo, you could come over if you want to.
Fair, right? But he wasn't waving it. He pulled it out to use it.
Oh, yeah. He pointed it. He pulled it out and he pointed it. Yeah,
right? Like, I remember in American Gangster, there was a scene, somebody was explaining something, and Denzel Washington was like, well, what did you do that for? You wasn't even supposed to be there. So that's when we have too many people trying to do too many things. Your job, right? You got one job. This brother should have somebody around him that's saying, hey, listen, I remember I came back from college, saw somebody, they was hanging out on the street, on the block. I pulled over, said what's up to him. They was like, yo, it's good to see you. Go ahead and get out of here. I'll tell my mother and them that you said that you're in town. Stop past her house. She would love to see you. I understood what that meant. Like, nah, nigga, you don't need to be here. Some shit may pop off or is about to pop off, and you don't need to be here. And then when I was at his mother's house the next day, stopped by, said what's up. He was like, he walked into the car. He was like, hey, bro, listen. He was like, some shit popped off. He said, and like, this ain't for you. He said, what would have happened if some shit popped off and you were still there and you got caught in the crossfire just because you wanted to say what's up?
So you basically saying to making sure that it's representation from the village to have your best interests at heart.
Yeah. Like, hey, bro.
So does that got more to do with us or the people around Ja Morant then?
I don't know who's around him, so I don't want to make no assumptions.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
What I am saying is, right, the village, we have recognized and we have acknowledged that the village ain't been at work for a very long time. Right? When you think about the current generation now, I went to a basketball game to see one of my nieces play. And I'm sitting here looking like, I mean, kids was out of control. And the adults was just sitting there watching the game on their phone. Like, nobody was providing guidance and wisdom. Even at a basketball game, like, yo, I remember getting snatched up because I answered somebody incorrectly at a basketball game. I was a kid. I answered them something, and they was like, what'd you say? I repeated the answer. I got snatched up. They was like, no, I'm going to ask you one more time because maybe you didn't realize who was asking you this question. I was like, you right. You right. And they was like, yeah, I ain't worried about what your friends say, but you know better. You right. You right. Can you put me down? Like, right? Like, just.
So the question is, you got this instance with Ja Morant, right?
Yep.
Then you had what happened with Young Dolph.
Yep.
Same city. Like, same level of personality within the community. You know what I'm saying? Like, can you knock it? Oh, like, you know, Nipsey Hussle, right? You're in your community. So at what point does the community have the best interests at heart for its participants and stakeholders?
What I will say is there should always be someone in your crew that's like, no, right? Going back to the bag. If you got the bag and I'm connected to you, I need to make sure that whatever you're doing won't prevent you from getting the bag further. That's my responsibility. That's my obligation. Right? If I'm a coach, but I only coach locally, and you started making it big, and I see you home hanging out with such and such, all right, cool, player. I'm going to remind you every time I see you. Hey, I know that's your fam. Like, hey, go ahead, get to where you need to get. It's good to see him. See him at dinner, but you hanging out and ain't nothing out here.
Yeah.
I think that part is gone because now everyone, it's hard to separate someone that's a part of you. Right? Like you go away to college and you come back. You're still part of the crew that never left, but now there's a difference, right? You're operating at a different frequency. It's not saying that you are better than them. What I am saying is that you are now better than the situation.
Oh, you've had a different level of experiences that you can kind of define if the situation is of value to you or not.
You should, right? But that,
Yeah.
but it gets cloudy because I saw something on social media. She was like, yeah, people will say, yo, I'm not better than that. It's like, no, I am. I am better than hanging out on the block until 4 a.m. with nothing to do and sleeping until 6 p.m. because I've been up since 4 a.m. with no direction. Or I am better than that. You want to know why? Because I'm paying this expensive ass tuition so that I can be. So I am better than this just on the mere fact that I've been exposed to more. And so I now need to start acting. Now, I didn't say that I'm better than those people that are doing the things that I just said I'm better than. I'm better than the situation.
But I have a mortgage now, so therefore I'd rather pay my mortgage and be in the house and good company than to be out in these streets where I can't control the environment.
Yeah, I'm better
to need a gun.
I'm better than dodging bullets, bro.
Real rap.
That was a thrill in college. Not necessarily a fun thrill. It was a thrill. Like, oh shit, duck. Like, oh, I remember. I'm at the club, dancing with a shorty. Oh shit, I see somebody. I see something shiny, and it's not the lights that's flashing in the club. I snatch her. We go under the pool table. The whole damn window of the club shot out, bro.
Yeah, man. I don't want to have to relive those moments.
Nigga, I don't even remember the song we was dancing to, but like, I'm just out here trying to have a good time. I was like, you know what? I should have took my ass to the library. That's what I said.
It's one of the reasons I stay in the house these days, though, man.
Bruh, because I've seen too much, and it's like, you know what? Hindsight is 2020. The club wasn't really that fun back then. Like, now that you're thinking about it, like, nah, I probably would have had more fun in library.
Very dangerous.
Yeah,
very
like,
dangerous.
So
should Ja Morant go out then, or should he be a recluse and just stay in his house?
I don't want to say
anywhere.
that either, right? I just like, just make better decisions. Just make better decisions. Like, stay off Instagram. Like, you didn't need to post that up. You didn't. Right? And I think
he definitely need a new social media team.
It's the whole entire social media thing, but it's this generation, bro, that can't separate themselves from it. Like, they have to prove themselves and get this cred from individuals that they don't even know. You posting on IG, most of your people ain't from the city you from. Most of these people you trying to prove yourself to, you probably never even spoken to. Right? So we are proving ourselves to people that are vapors in the abyss. For what? Because at the end of the day,
your head is the heaviest.
And if the NBA decides to get rid of you, like, ain't no money coming out their pocket. And most of the people that are clowning you and talking shit, I bet you they are subscribing to the rules of their employer. They gonna live on the edge, push it a little bit, but they be like, this might get me kicked out my apartment. This might get me unemployed. This might get me in jail.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the individuals that get real finger happy on social media. So we have to be able to start to separate ourselves from the things of the past. Yeah, you like all this attention. Cool. Have somebody else manage that. Have somebody else carry that piece that if you feel like you need to wave it. But going back to what my homeboy said.
Depend on Ja, man. Ja need to depend on Ja, man. He worried about the wrong thing.
That part.
I'm gonna lie, man. Ja need to make sure that he got people that believe in Ja around him, man, to make sure he get what he need to
with
get.
The capital J.
Yeah, man. Cause I don't know, man. Like you about to be big time.
But I think this is another situation of where boy meets world.
I just hope he gets that understanding. You know what
And
I'm
I
saying?
hope it doesn't cost him everything he's worked so hard for him to get the understanding.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's what's required.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I just he there. He's on the cusp of legit being the face of the league, man. I just hope that, whatever's out of line can get realigned and back in alignment, because he got a bright future ahead of him, man. I hate to see him squander it over some bullshit, like real rap. Yeah, man. But if I'm Ja Morant, man, I'm about to get a quarter billy, bro. Man, I got people in any city I'm at that I want to go out and frequent that's gonna do that stuff for me. And can do it within the confines of that community.
Friends in low places.
Yo, bruh, that's
Friends
what you
in low
got
places.
money for. Like, for real, man. If you got a bag, you got a bag so that you don't have to get your hands dirty and do the dumb shit, man. You could enjoy your life because you got companies that get paid to do that stuff.
Every celebrity got these.
Everybody got this stuff. This ain't nothing new. You know what I'm saying?
You get pushed on the street, guess what? Somebody else is gonna push them back for you.
Hey, man,
Keep it
like
moving.
real rap. Chris Rock, if Chris Rock had some goons at the Oscars that he could have got put on Will Smith something nice and decent, but Chris Rock knew that, yo, man, there ain't but so many times black men gonna be at the Oscars on this magnitude.
It's bigger.
It's bigger than
it, right?
Yeah, man.
And I think slowly but surely we'll start to see it. Unfortunately, sometimes, like I said, it comes at the cost of everything we've got.
You can't act right in front of company, man. That's what it comes down to. But yeah, man, you can't, man. You give us some money, man. We got to show out a little bit in front of company, man. We get.
You show out and you get shut down.
That's it, man. The conundrum.
Show out
Brother
and
Jay.
you get shut down.
The conundrum, man.
And that's the ball game.
Man. On that note, you've just witnessed another edition of the Game Recognized Game podcast with RLJ and Kev. I'm KEV, that's RLJ, and we are the gentlemen advancing the melanin evolution, where evolution is revolution. Until next time, if you got it like that, get you some security. Ain't no need for you to carry the strap yourself. Get you some security and be light.
Stay the hell home, bro. And off live.
Ain't nothing open this hour at night but legs and hospitals.
And guns. In the club. Memphis. Shout out to Memphis, Tennessee. Y'all be safe out there and be like.